Hey everybody, Backyard Scrapping here. Well, my package came in from Full Push Metals on the stuff he was going to send for me to refine for him. I believe it's some silver contacts, so we're going to go ahead and open this up. And as you can see, I got a bunch of other stuff out here on the desk, because I figured I'm going to go over a few things this evening. Okay, here we go. Get this put back up, and that is it. It is the contacts, I believe, that he was going to send me to refine. Alright, he says, please put all in one bar. Thanks, BYS. Alright, so let's see what we got here. Let me get a little thing. Let me get my scale and I'll get right back with you guys. Okay, we're back. We got our little scale. Let's go ahead and get this set up. See what we got. Okay. I am showing 77.64 grams. So that's what we're going to be starting with. And see, this is exactly the way you want to send something to be refined. Okay, so what I want to talk about here is the fees, or what I charge and what most home refiners charge to refine your material. Now, the object of it is for you to send as clean a material as possible. We base our, it's usually a 25%, 75% split. In other words, I'm going to get 25% of the yield, you're going to get 75% of the yield. The object is to send the cleanest material you can so you can get as much as you can out of it. Like with these contacts, I mean, they can yield, contacts are anywhere from 10% silver. They can be as high as 90% silver. These are probably going to be a little bit more silver. These may actually be tungsten, just a heavy, heavy, heavy coating over tungsten. I don't know yet until I do it. But the point of it is he has done his homework. He cleaned them up. He got them ready for me instead of sending me something like this, which, I mean, I can't even refine that for you if I get it like this. It's just not, first of all, it's not going to be worth my time. It's not going to be worth the effort that goes into it. It's just, it has to be prepared material. And now I'm going to explain why. The cleaner the material that you start with, the less acid it takes to dissolve things. In other words, the purer the silver is, the less nitric acid it takes. Now, nitric acid is fairly expensive, and then you have to pay hazmat shipping fees and all that kind of stuff in it, unless you live close to a chemical place where you can go pick it up. But I mean, just a hazmat shipping is $50 or more. So just an example, 2.2 liters of nitric acid cost me about probably 68, so let's just call it $70. The cleaner the material you start with, like if I'm using just pure silver, like to make this silver nitrate, that was pure silver. You see how clear that is? That's because there's no copper, there was nothing. It takes a minimal amount of nitric acid, about 1.2 milliliters per gram of silver. The more impurities there are in the silver, the more nitric acid it takes. In other words, for example, if it was sterling silver, something like these, this is sterling silver flatware or whatever, it's going to take 1.5 milliliters, maybe 1 3/4 milliliters to dissolve this stuff. Okay? Sterling silver jewelry, the same thing. Anything that's going to be sterling silver, it's going to take a little bit more. If it's coin silver, it takes a little bit more acid. In other words, the less pure silver there is, the more acid it takes, so it's a higher cost. Okay, our fees are based, like I said, 25% goes to me of the yield, 75% goes to whoever I'm refining it for. out of my 25%, I probably only end up with about half of that as profit. And you can't really even call it profit because the amount of time it takes, you never get paid for your time when you're doing this. It's like when I used to facet stones. I mean, you can't, you know, you can buy a cut garnet, you know, that was cut in India for $1, you know, or 50 cents even, you know, for a decent sized stone, where it takes me 2 hours to cut a stone. Well, I can't cut a stone and charge you $1. It's the same, basically the same thing that goes on with this. Now, I'm going to show you a quick couple ways if you don't have sterling. Okay, a lot of people are asking me about plated. Now, this is sterling silver, so it's 92.5% pure. This is plated. There's very little silver on this. There may be a gram and a half of silver on all this. Unless you have tons of this type of material. These are all also silver plated. Unless you have tons of this material, I can't refine it for you. It just doesn't pay. There's just not enough silver in it for what it's going to cost me in acids and basically time. It's going to take even longer to do this stuff than it does to do the sterling silver. But there are some ways that you can still get the silver out of this cheaply. You can, for example, just take sandpaper and sand it off, or take a grinding wheel or a motor tool, someplace where you can catch the grindings, in a tub, in whatever, and you can literally just grind this off. Now, it's not going to be pure silver because you're taking off other metal with it, but that's what you would want to send me. If you have, you know, a couple hundred pieces of this, and you sand it all off and grind it all off and get all the silver off into a powder, you can send me that powder. And then I can refine it for you. This is the same principle with this stuff. You can sand it off. You can also do what's called reverse electroplating, which is, there's a lot of videos on YouTube about it. You can take that silver off that way, filter that off, and you can send that to me, and I can refine it for you. In other words, it's not going to pay me to sit here and sand all this off and excuse me, and then refine it for 25% of a gram. I mean, we're talking about 50 cents worth of silver, and it's, you know, this is a hobby. So if you want the silver from it, and this is your hobby, and this is what you do, and then you want it refined into pure silver, then you can go through and do that. And then send me that material, the dust, to be refined, or whatever you got off from your electroplating. Basically, the material you want to send me needs to be semi-processed. In other words, it can be, this doesn't have to be, because this is just going to get cut up and thrown right into the acid. Same thing with this. Coin silver, I do have people that have asked me if I would do their coins for them. You can do that. I mean, your constitutional silver, unless it's really burned out like this thing, I mean, there's no date, there's no nothing. It has absolutely no collector value at all. Yeah, I would say if you want to refine that into pure silver, that's fine. It's 90% silver. So that could be refined, but you're still talking about material that is at least 75% pure or more. Once it falls below that 75%, you got to figure my end, half of what I get off of my end is already going to cover acids and materials. What's left of that no way covers my time, but I don't do it for the money. I do it for the silver. I mean, I like silver, so, and that's also, like I said, it's my hobby. But like I said with this stuff, if you want to refine that, that's fine. Your constitutional silver, something that looks like that, there's no point in refining that. I mean, everybody knows what it is. You're going to probably get more for it like it is than you would if you refined it. Now, foreign coins or foreign money, there's all kinds of it. There's all kind of different amounts, 50%, 10, you know, the older Mexican pesos, they're about the size of a silver dollar, but they're only 10% silver. So again, you got to have a lot of those if you want to get anything out of them. But the point I'm trying to make is I would be happy to refine any of your material. You just have to get it to me in a semi-processed form. In other words, you can't send me this to refine. It costs me too much in acid, I'm probably not going to make anything. You're not going to get anything back. But if you were to take and do this for a year, every time you get 2 or 3 pieces of this and you sand it off, or you use a reverse electroplate and you get the silver and you hoard that up, and then at the end of a year you send it to me, yeah, I'll probably get a couple ounces. You'll probably get a few ounces, you know, or whatever. If you send me 10 ounces and it ends up 10 ounces pure, you're going to get 7.5 ounces back, because that material that you're sending me is going to be over 75% pure. If it falls below that, in other words, if it comes down below that 75%, then I have to take a 0.5% for each percentage below 75% of purity. So let's just say this came out 50% pure, these contacts. The base is 75%. If this comes out 50% pure, then I have to take a 0.5% for every percent below 75% purity. And that is basically just to cover the cost of my acids and a little bit of my time. Like I said, you're not going to get paid for your time to do this. What I do is dangerous. I don't recommend anybody do it. I've been messing with metals for 30 years. I would suggest doing your research if you want to do this. The acid you're handling with, the fumes that are generated are literally deadly. So, you know, it's not something to play with. If you don't know how to do it, you haven't done your research, it's definitely not something you want to just jump into and do. But like I said, there are cheap ways to get. You don't want to throw this out. This is still silver. There's still silver here. And it is worth recovering, especially as a hobby. But it's not worth it for me to do it for you and both of us to come out to the good. It's just not going to work. Now this, sterling silver, you know, this says sterling, this is marked sterling. And a lot of times, one other thing I want to tell you, just because it's marked sterling doesn't mean it is sterling. I actually did 500 grams of sterling jewelry one time, a 0.5 kilogram. So in a perfect world, 500 grams should have yielded 462 grams, 462.5 grams of pure silver. I got less than 400. That's because a lot of times it might be marked 925 or sterling, but it may only be 900. It may only be coin silver. It may only. I've had things that were marked 925 that have turned out to be 80% silver. So that mark is not set in stone. Anybody can buy a stamp and anybody can mark something whatever they want to mark it. In fact, I've even had pieces that were marked sterling and they were plated. So just remember that too. But in any case, I wanted to go over that with you guys real quick. I wanted to explain some of the refining. I mean, if you got coins and you want them turned into, I don't care. If they're your coins and you want to turn them into pure silver, I'll be happy to do it for you. 25% of the pure silver is going to go to me. 75% is going to go to you. Same thing with sterling jewelry. Same thing with contacts. Now, these are probably only going to be 50%. So it's going to cost him another 12.5%. But like I said, that's basically going towards acid. This kind of stuff here, you're talking about a 75% return to you. This kind of stuff, you're probably looking at a 60% return to you. You know, 55%. Just depends, because we have no idea what these are going to come out at. But he did it right. See, this is silver contacts. Well, this is how they look when you break the breakers apart. But he also removed them from the arms. So I don't have to deal with all of this. If I have to weigh all that and come out, you're going to owe me money. I'm going to keep all the silver and you're going to owe me money. That's what it would work out if you sent me this to do. It's impossible for you to make a profit this way. So anyway, I want to get this. I wanted to explain this to you guys a little bit. See if I can make it a little clearer how the refining end goes and what the processes are that we have to do. This is worth messing with. It's not worth it for me to do it all. If you prep this material, save it up, like I said, you can sand it off, you can grind it off. You're going to have whatever metals underneath mixed in. That's why you get it refined. That's why you send it to somebody like me, so you end up with this. That's what you want to end up with from this stuff, from any of this. You want to end up with pure silver. So this is how it works. It's a 75%, 25% split as long as the material is at least 75% pure. If it falls under 75% pure, for every 0.5% below that, or for every percent below that, 0.5% more would go to me. And that's to cover my costs, acids, time, everything. You know, that's just how it works. But don't throw this stuff out. I mean, there is silver on it. There's probably, I would say on this right here, gram, 2, 3, there's probably a couple, 3 grams of silver on here. So if you're sitting around watching TV or out in your shop or whatever, and you just want to sit with, you know, grinding paper or sand and sand the silver off of it, keep the little pile, throw it in a bottle, and save it till you get a bottle full, sooner or later you're going to end up with quite a bit of silver. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to fill you in on that, explain how some things work. I will refine whatever you want to send me. Like I said, if you have coins and you want them refined, I'll refine them. Doesn't make any difference to me. One thing I want to tell you though, these are 35%. Remember that, 35%. So you may not want to be refining these. Coins that are below 75% pure, you may not want to be refining them because it's going to cost you a little bit more. I'll take any amount. This ended up being 77.64 grams. We're kind of both doing this more or less for videos and to just see what we end up with out of this. I don't care if you send me an ounce of stuff. I don't care if you send me 100 ounces of stuff. I don't have any minimums or anything like that. So, alright guys, I'm going to let you go. I wanted to explain that to you and show you that, yes, there is silver. There's silver in many, many, many places. But you are going to have to do some of the work if you want to end up with, you know, more silver. This way, I mean, he's going to get something back. If he was to send them to me like this, like I said, he would end up owing me money by the time I got through taking all these off and doing all the work. Now, this doesn't work that way. Alright guys, I'm going to let you go. If you have any questions, you can drop me an email. My information is below all my videos. If you want to send me something, address is down there. I appreciate you. Thanks for watching this video. And like I said, if you have any questions, just drop me an email. If you've got some stuff you want refined, I'll be happy to do it. I know there's a lot of silver in these guys, but there's also palladium and PM metals. These are MLCCs off of computer boards. I'm saving these up right now. I'm not really doing them yet because PM metals are very dangerous to work with. But gold also, if you have gold or, you know, jewelry, it's a different process than the silver, but I can also do that as well. Alright guys, like I said, if you have any questions, drop me a line, you know, and I'll see what I can do to help you out. If you want to send me something, if you want something refined, you know, just get with me and I'll do my best to explain it to you, and probably better than this. I'm kind of haphazard here, but I'm trying to keep this video short. So have a good one, guys. Everybody have a Merry Christmas. It's coming up fast, and we'll see you in the next video.